And welcome back to the Cardinals 20-year rebuild. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I hope you're all having a great day. Please leave a like, comment down below what you thought of today's action, and don't forget to subscribe. As we are entering into year 17, ladies and gentlemen, and we're in this weird spot, and we have been throughout, I would say, the better part of the last 6 or 7 episodes, where our team is overall one of the best. We're able to win in the regular season. We're able to do everything pretty well, in my opinion. And we just seem to fall right on our faces every single time we make it into the postseason. And I don't really know what to try to do differently. You know, in this up-and-coming off-season that we're approaching, we're not going to have a lot of money. We have currently $26 million, which we'll probably spend a little bit on retaining some players. And then after that, you know, we're probably not going to be able to make any other significant signings in the open free agency. But where we can do some damage is in this up-and-coming draft class. Remember, a year ago, I traded away, who did I trade away? I traded away Cole Green to the Denver Broncos for their first round selection. And that first round pick became the 5th overall pick. And so we have a top 5 selection in this draft class. We also have a second round, and we have two seconds and 2 thirds. So we have ammunition both with our original 24th pick to trade up if so choose, or in the top 5 range, we could look to trade even higher if there's a player that I really like. And when you currently look at this team, this is the interesting part. You know, where is all this money? Because Will Britley is not being paid $40 million. He's now being paid, give or take, about 24, 26 right now, due to the fact that he's getting closer and closer to the end of his first contract. But when you look at this team, you know, we have 2 excellent number 1 receivers in Cameron Hayden here, who has developed very nicely for us, working out of the slot, and he continues to produce. And throw on top, you have Mitch Ford, another big-time receiver. Drafted him in the top 5 a handful of seasons ago. You know, I can't believe he's already going into year 7, and he's had, you know, he had an injured season this year, but he's put up some very quality years. But also, is he worth $33-35 million a year? The thing is this: we don't have time to blow up the roster and try to rebuild. If we were going to do that, we should have done that a couple years ago. You know, we have year 17, year 18, 19, and 20 to go through still. And I just don't think it makes a whole lot of sense to do to try to blow up the team. We're going to have to work with this team. You know, as we enter into this free agency, left tackle will be a need. I'm not going to look to re-sign Andrew Langford. He's, yes, an 82 overall, top 12 tackle in the league. He's an excellent pass blocker, but I'm going to look to try to add a new tackle to this room. I did see if Spearman could play tackle. He just couldn't, and I don't think it makes a lot of sense for a center to be able to move to tackle. So tackle is a position where we're going to look to draft. You know, our offense at the postseason put up 3 points in our loss. Can this offense now, can we improve it enough to not do that again? Flipping it over to the defense, and, you know, one player that we're also going to be, another star that we're going to probably be letting go is Cole Timmons here. Top 15 corner in the league, and, you know, between him and Andrew Langford, these are 2 quality starters. It's just we don't have the funds to keep them, and we don't have, I really think at corner especially, we don't really need Cole. We have 3 guys still very solid starters or waiting in the ring to play. So, you know, it's going to be very interesting. Now, one thing to note here, This is the first time now since, I want to say year 3, that we're not going to have Elijah Fletcher on this defense. We saw Colbert here put up 14 sacks a year ago. You know, Jalen Wilkins here, he's a superstar development. I'm going to give him the opportunity to be our starter. You know, Daitley here, he's developed pretty nicely for us as a defensive tackle, and we drafted him in the first round. So do expect some change across this defense. You know, Jeremy Jones will probably not look to keep him strictly because, you know, he's 20 or he's now 30 years old. You know, it's not like he's going to really get any better, and it's, you know, he's just going to continue to be more and more expensive. So I expect to see some changes here, but we're going to continue trying to get younger. We're going to continue to try to improve this team, because as long as we have the best quarterback in the league in Will Britley, we have a chance every single season. So as we've made it to the re-sign phase, we see we have $26 million. I already said it, Cole Timmons here. We're not going to look to bring him back. Thank you for your services. He was a first round pick, just never really panned out. Jeremy Jones, this will just kill all of our salary. Jones here, again, a player that is very talented, very good, developed into a superstar. We're going to have to let him go. For Darren Laws here, I do want to pick up his 5th-year option. It's so hard to develop running backs in franchise, and you know, keeping him around until he's 26, I don't think that's bad at all. Andrew Langford doesn't even want to be here, and he wants a 3-year, $70 million. I can't do that. Weston will come back to Scott here. We'll let Test. Same thing here with Spencer. We'll come back to Rashad Kitchen. And Alex Coleman, our kicker, we're going to let him test. I've been keeping Rashad Kitchens, and I'm going to continue to do so. So the last player that we have to make a decision on is Tremaine Weston. Wants a 1-year, close to $9 million. That would probably be the contract that I give him. And this would give us, if we did a 1-year 10, let's do that. 1-year, $10 million. I still think Tremaine Weston can start somewhere on your defense, and I would like for him to come back. He would like to play for a new team, though. $25 million. I am not going to tag anyone, even to do a tag and trade. It just, you know, I think the only player that would make some sense would be Andrew Langford, but I just not going to do that. We'll look to re-sign Tremaine Weston. We'll have some money as we enter into this open free agency, but not a lot. There are a few players that I'm considering trading, so we'll see when I decide to do that. But let's look at open free agency here. Chris Lively here, he was the Rams quarterback. He's out here. Miles White, one of the better receivers, a kicker, a center, a defensive tackle. Lawrence House, he's been a franchise quarterback for the New York Giants throughout this. Chase Green is out here. He's available. We see Jones is getting some interest. Cole Green is out here. We traded him away, and you know, he got us a top 10 or top 5 pick. We see McKinney here, one of our veteran corners that we brought in. Jermaine Weston is a guy that I want to bring back. So I'm gonna, instead of 10, we're gonna offer him 9. But we have, apparently we can only negotiate with one other player in this stage. So let's go see if there's another guy that I would even consider. And as of right now, I'm not going to. I'm just going to be targeting Tremaine Weston here, the 1-year, $9 million. And now he's getting a lot of interest from the Panthers and the Colts. And I don't want Weston to leave. I think he's a very important player to our defense. So I'm going to try to match what the Colts and Panthers are trying. I can evaluate one more time here, and no more evaluations. So I am gonna raise the money just a little bit more, because I don't think that I'm gonna be really too active here in free agency. So 1 year, $11 million will be my final offer. I'm gonna sim, and we'll see if we can retain Tremaine Weston, or we might be losing 3 faces of this team in one off season. Between Elijah Fletcher, Tremaine Weston, and Wade Rayfield. Let's see. I forgot to see how many players is available. So Tremaine Weston did not sign with us. He's gone. So where did Tremaine Weston ultimately end up? As a Colt. He took less money. You know, he was such a key piece to our defense for so many years. Still a top 13 safety. I was planning on considering changing where he plays and playing him at linebacker just because of his speed, but he can still tackle, he can still cover, he can do everything for you. But, you know, he's posted up, he's a ball hawking safety. He's a guy that I did not want to let go. I drafted him all the way back 10 years ago in 2030 with a 16th overall pick. 4-time Pro Bowler. It's kind of sad to see. Let's see if there's where else players went. Quarterback, 2 top quarterbacks here are signing elsewhere. No one else. Running back wise, not too many. Miles White, he goes to the Panthers. The Commanders signed 2 tight ends. Andrew Langford going to the Panthers. So the Panthers making a couple big signings. Let's see, did Chase Green sign? No, he hasn't. We could reunite, try to improve this offensive line. The top defensive tackles have gone. Jeremy Jones is going to the Vikings, who beat us in the postseason. So we're seeing movement. Cole Timmons and McKinney here, 2 ex-Cardinals, signing with the Lions and the Texans, respectfully. So, you know, we see some movements. Is there any guys that I want to target? We have $25 million. We still have needs, so let's see what we can do. And with our remaining cap, I am going to be making three new targets. Chase Green, and they're all familiar faces. Chase Green, after playing a season, I believe as a Colt, trying to offer him a 1-year deal. Dalvin Lawrence, a middle linebacker, wouldn't be too bad to reunite with him. He could still start. And the DeAndre Kennedy, he was a drafted safety for us, never really panned out, but he's a mentor, and we're gonna sign all 3, but Kennedy here, it's important for him because we have he's injured, but actually, I didn't even know he was hurt. But the mentor tag is really what I was looking for. He's not, I hope he doesn't have to start, but he still has good enough hit power, solid enough speed, okay in coverage. But Chase Green, this is gonna be the interesting one, because I think Green actually could play tackle. I've always thought that. And we might have just signed our new left tackle. And then Lawrence, we needed linebacker depth anyways. And he's still great in coverage. He can still tackle. I think we got 3 solid, starters or role players or depth, leaving us still with some money. It looks like a couple more players has retired, and it looks like Caleb Williams and Roten Smith. Williams is, been in the franchise since day 1, 17 seasons, so it's cool to see him retire. And here's the current state of the team. I think immediately what jumps out at you is tackle, is the biggest need. Now, do we kick Chase Green to left tackle, let him start there? That's most likely what I'll end up doing. But we could still look to draft a tackle regardless. Other than that, wide receiver, I think we have some solid depth across the board. We could consider drafting a receiver, I guess. Tight end could be a need, just because Bobby Summers is getting older. Defensively, I think we have our 3 new young defensive linemen that are all going to produce. I think we have a solid enough secondary. I think linebacker might be a big need for us, but there are a lot of interesting things about this draft class. For starters, you see immediately off the rip here, quarterback, a lot of quarterbacks here. There's actually 9 quarterbacks projected to go in the first round. I like them all. They're all pretty interesting. But as you guys could see right off the rip, we have 2 top 5 talents immediately that we see. Peter Williams here, a corner. Again, a first round talent here. The question that we have to ask ourselves is, Walter Mentor, a 6'5" wide receiver, is he worth trying to trade up to go get? 4.4 speed, solid athlete across the board. He is a top 5 player. Or is it Monty Adams here? Again, a top 5 player. Good speed for a safety. And that's the other thing, is positional value. I think I would like to end up with one of these 2 players. So we have the 5th overall pick. We have 2 seconds. We have also the 24th and 2 seconds and 2 thirds, and some players that I would consider. So I think it's too difficult to trade up to the 1 or 2. So I'm gonna actually let these 2 picks go. We see Monty Adams go here 1, going to the Houston Texans. Wow. A safety going 1st overall. I have not seen that in a while. And then we see Walter Mentor. I had a feeling he was going to go to the Jets. So now we have a top 5 pick, and and 2 players that I really liked, both off the board. I'm not going to look to trade up now. I would have traded 3 if one of them fell, but maybe I should have been more aggressive, I guess. As a pass rusher goes, what do we want to do here at 5? We know that there is a first round corner in this class in Peter Williams. We could go with a safe selection, but corner is a very deep position for us. And do we really want to, again, take a corner here? We could go with a linebacker, but is it too early to draft a linebacker at 5? And that is, we could go offensive line. We could go that direction. I don't know if it really makes a lot of sense to go after a receiver right now. Or we could go to the well of the quarterback. Not gonna do that though. This might be a spot where we look to trade and try to just kick this can down the road. That probably took me a good solid 3 minutes to make a decision, because there's a lot of intriguing offers, a lot of different directions. But I'm going to trade the 5th overall pick here to the Jacksonville Jaguars, picking up their next year's 1st and 2nd, and trading all the way back to the 29th pick. I think that this makes a lot of sense for us. There's a ton of different directions I could have gone, but I felt that we still keep 2 first round picks this year. We get then 2 first round picks next year with 2 seconds. We have, in my opinion, been able to reload, and now we could look to move off of these selections. But I think that this made a lot of sense for us. We see quarterbacks go. Julian Colbert was the Jags selection at 5. They wanted a receiver. There's a lot of talent that just left the board. Not seeing too many others. Maybe Joel White, the running back. Terrence Cross, the defensive tackle. But I think we will have enough to be able to make maybe a solid pick. And here with the 24th pick, Cameron Harris here, a defensive tackle. I think that this I think we need to continue trying to add solid depth and solid starters. Ranked 84th in the class, got him here at 24. As long as he's a 70. And this kind of maybe forces my hand to make another selection here in the first if Harris is not good. Jamar Morgan here will be the selection. He's a guard, but I'm gonna be moving him to tackle. I like his skill set. I think he can play it. He's ranked 22, so at 29 here, we got a hidden development. Right guard that will probably play left tackle for us. Develop him for a season. I'm a little worried about the Harris selection, but I really like that other pick for us. And I'm going to be trading out here in the second round, trading away both of our picks to the New York Giants. And we're going to be picking up their next year's first round pick. We're also sending 2 solid starters for them. And we're picking up this year's third. So Giants recoup by getting some extra picks this second round as we continue to kind of gear up for the future, because I'm planning on next episodes being aggressive. I think I messed up in today's action. And here with one of our third round picks, Teddy Cadwell, a middle linebacker, will be the selection here. And Teddy got him right around the time that he's supposed to go. 88 speed, normal development. Not too bad. I'm gonna go with Carl Richardson here, and with another third round pick we have. He is, yes, a quarterback, but he has round 1 projected value. We got him, give or take, where he's supposed to go. He's a field general archetype. I think he could be a solid backup. Maybe a future starter. Probably not, but too much talent to pass up. And with our last third round pick, we're going to be drafting a center here. Probably going to move him to guard in Jimmy here. Ranked 43rd in the class, normal dev. Yeah, I think he could play one of the guard positions for us. We're going to go with JJ Jackson here in the 4th, a slot wide receiver. Ranked 26th in the class, got him at 120 normal development. Big for a slot receiver, but 90 speed. We're gonna go with Jimmy Mitchell here, a running back. He's a power guy. Ranked 51st in the class. He's 24 years old. I just noticed that. 89 speed, but solid pick here in the 5th. Now I want to add a deep threat here. Marcus McDonald here. He's a wide receiver. Get a little cut screen. Ranked 120, 112 here. Got him at 180, 99 speed. He was fastest in the class. Sometimes athleticism is what you need. And he also has hidden development, which is nice. We don't have a kicker. Well, I think we do, but I think we need to upgrade a kicker and didn't do anything with it. So Carl Cross will be the selection here in the 7th. Ranked 89th. Got him at 212. He was the only accurate kicker. So 90 kick power. Not too bad. So I think I started this draft class without, I should have been much more aggressive. And I started to kind of take a step back and said, you know what, let's work for the future. Let's continue trying to add as much talent as we possibly can. And I think adding talent was a success. I mean, we had one player who's a 60 in the 60s overall, but he's 69. So we hit on every single selection. What did we miss out though? Monty Adams here went 1, hidden dev, 80 overall. And yeah, he would have been a plug and play starter at safety for us and would have been a very fun player to add. Then Walter Mentor here, 6'4" wide receiver going to the New York Jets, 99 spec catch. He can do a little bit of everything for you. I mean, he's like a running back out there. So I should have been more aggressive in this class. That's on me. But we see a corner is one of the other top positions. Actually, it really goes only corner and a quarterback. So truly, this was just not a class where our needs really were met. we see there was a lot of solid quarterbacks being drafted across the board. But let's look at our class. What did we do right? What did we do wrong? Well, with the first pick, 24, our first pick, we drafted Cameron Harris here, a defensive tackle. I then traded away Dante Altman later on in this class. So Harris here will be our third defensive tackle. You know, it just not the best selection on my end, but still 71 overall. Then I came back and decided to make this next selection here, and Jamal Morgan here reminds me a lot of Chase Green. But Morgan here, I drafted him to play tackle, and I want to see where his overall will be. I think it was like an 80 or 75. Now he's an 74. That's fine with me. Then I traded away our 2 second-round picks, picked up another third, picked up another first. Teddy was one of those selections here. 69 zone coverage, nice. Yeah, solid middle linebacker will be a solid third guy for us for at least this season. Then I just couldn't let Carl Richardson go any further. Drafted him, he's 70 overall. I mean, he's now our new quarterback too, was supposed to go in the first round, and with these ratings, I see why. Well, he was projected to go in the first round. I don't know why he fell. Then I came back here, drafted a center in Jimmy here, but Jimmy here is going to be playing left guard for us. Again, I think that he could. I thought he could play the position, and yeah, he's now a 74 overall. Don't remember his original. Then in the late rounds, I went some positional playmakers. J.J. Jackson here, 22-year-old speedy receiver that can play in the slot for you. Yeah, solid selection here. Already 75 overall. That might have been the steal of our class. Jimmy Mitchell here, the interesting power back, 24 years old. Yeah, day one, he could make some plays for us. I had been drafting running backs, and they are very intriguing. Then we come here with Marcus McDonald here, a speedy deep threat with 99 speed, and with a boost, he has also 99 acceleration. Excellent kick returner. Again, we're just adding a lot of quality talent here. And then Cole Cross here, the kicker I just drafted. He's probably going to be our kicker for the remaining of this rebuild. So we just got to work on that awareness for him. What do you think of the class, guys? I really like it. I know that we could have drafted either one or both 80 overall players. But again, you know, Mentors would be our third receiver, and we just a year ago drafted a safety. You know, and I'm saying this to you guys now, we leave this class obtaining 2 more first-round picks as well as a second. We're gonna go into next year's class in year 18 with 3 first-round picks, something that I've never done. It's drafted 3 players in the first round, but we'll also have 2 seconds. So if there are players in this up-and-coming class I like, I have the ammunition to be aggressive. And that's the game plan for this next class, especially if they have top-tier talent. As we're about to enter into year 17 of this rebuild. So here's the roster, guys. We have our quarterback in Will Britley. He has 3 solid receivers and young guys in developing. He has a solid back. You throw in Bobby Summers and an offensive line where we brought back Chase Green, moving him to tackle, drafting in the process a couple younger offensive linemen. We have now 3 linemen waiting here. So, you know, movement could be coming here for our offensive line. And defensively, you know, we see some starters gone. You know, Michael here, Dorsett here, he is expected to become our new number 2 corner, as Cole Timmons was moved off of. You know, we're seeing Tree also getting a opportunity at corner. Roundtree. No more Tremaine Weston here. No more Eliza Fletcher. Jeremy Jones left. Same thing with Cole Timmons. So our defense has regressed, you know, but can our youth step up? Can our, the veterans that are currently here, you know, defensively right now, I think when you look at this defense, Dion Fitzpatrick, DeCoulis Mims, and Nicholas McCain, all three of these guys need to be fantastic. And that is potent for this defense here, because these are the three guys. You know, you can point out Colbert here, you could look at Delaney here, you could look at Wilkins, and these guys all have the talent, they all have the age or the development trait, but they have to produce. But when you talk about this defense, these three guys, these three veterans are going to be the catalyst for us. Offensively, we have the quarterback, we have the weapons, we have the line, as we are, in my opinion, much more built offensively. It's up to Will Britley to take us over the top. And we start off this season with a loss here. Now we have Seattle. We've done pretty well against them, and we did lose and leaving this game with an injury, and that's for Deshaun Colbert here, the young pass rusher that really, who was second in the league in sacks, and he's such a key piece, man. I think we have the Texans now. We did get that victory, putting us at 1-2, suffering another injury this time to Laws. We have backs that I trust, but Laws is an important player, and you know, that's another tough pill to swallow. Can we get back to 500 here versus the Rams? If we can beat the Rams, that would be nice. Beating them 24 or 27-24. That's very nice to see. Let's continue simming before we look at negotiations or anything like that, as we are playing the Jags. As will this go any slower? Possibly. We did beat the Jags, beating them 33-24. We have the first mock draft, but we have the player breakout opportunity here. Meredith a year ago was our power back, has got this type of chance, and he's trying to get to, I believe, star development, not superstar. But who knows? I don't know if he's going to be starting. But here are our current free agents. $97 million, so we do have money. But Cameron Hayden, he needs a new deal. Devon Roundtree, he's our currently, I think, our number 3 corner. Deshaun Colbert wants a 2-year, $31 million. Brian here wants a 1-year, $6 million. But no one wants to be here, these top talent. Mark Hunt, who I drafted, doesn't want to be here. Lance Brown, these two young edge rushers will probably be testing. Chase Green, no one wants to be here. Could not tell you why. We have a franchise quarterback and everything. These two starters here in Brian and Colbert are probably the biggest and most important ones. And I do want to work on these contracts right here, right now. But I want these guys long term. A 4-year deal for Brian, $28 million. He does sign. That's a relatively cheap contract as well. And for Colbert here, I am also banking that he's going to improve and produce. So 4 years, $66 million. Again, not at all an expensive contract. So this will give us room to $78 million to make any other signings that we want to. But Cameron Hayden here, he wants about $30+ million a season. So keeping this one at the back of your mind here, but I'm not going to negotiate with him just yet. I would be willing to tag him. He's not going to be leaving anytime soon, though. He's at worst case scenario going to be tagged from us. As we beat the Rams this week, beating them 26-22. I needed to get the two young defensive linemen stars under contract. and they were relatively cheap, and I'm happy about that. Meredith here still has star development. He actually has star instead of normal. But regardless, we're 4-2, we're winning, and wins continue to pile up here as we have an award winner, and that's for DeCoolest Mims, 11 tackles and a sack to back it up. As we are 5-2, let's sim one more week, getting us to the trade deadline here. Let's see where we are. We lost to the Niners, 41-35. Another weekly award, this time for Will Brickley, throwing 3 touchdowns, despite the loss, though. In reality, do we want to make any sort of trades with any of these players? And you could argue Lance Brown, Jalen Mullins, these are 2 backups, but I just don't think so. So I don't think we're gonna make any trades. So let's look at some stats here. I see Will Brickley is number 1 in passing yards, 13 touchdowns, 1 interception. Looking excellent out there, and he should be. Brandon Meredith has been playing a little bit more football because Laws has been injured, and producing pretty well for us as the rookie back has gotten some plays. Mitch Ford has rushed to score. Cameron Hayden here continues to dominate. Mitch Ford producing pretty well. Bobby Summers and Deshaun Bryan here continuing to play well. JJ Jackson has gotten on the field. Happy to see all of that. Offensive line, Chase Green has allowed 8 sacks. So this could be a spot where we look to trade and start Morgan. Trade away Green, try to get a pick back from him. I don't know if I really want to do that. The coolest Mims here leads us in tackles. And then Lawrence right behind him. In terms of TFLs defensively, not too many. Josh Wilkins here, who has had to play a much more of a premier role because of Colbert's injury, has 6.5 sacks. Colbert has 2.5. Sack-wise, it's hurting, but hopefully someone can step up. Fitzpatrick with 2 INTs. He's definitely playing well. And Nicholas also has an INT. Nice to see that as well. So let's get to right around week 15, 16 and see where we are. As we've made it to week 15 and we have currently a losing record, we are also currently outsiders of the playoff picture. And currently we are the 11th seed, and I don't think that there's a path for us to, unless we start pulling off some massive victories. I think that this is a season where our offense was supposed to be great and they weren't. Well, they were good to start, but Will Brickley kind of slowed down, and I don't know why. Running wise, really nothing. Cameron Hayden here producing well. But after that, Mitch Ford hasn't been playing well. Offensive line from a year ago played some of their best football, and now I think they're playing back to some of their worst football. Mims is trying to tackle as many guys as he can, but it's just not enough here. Josh here leads us with sacks with 6.5. Ryan and Colbert here each have 3. Yeah, it's just not our year. We got a couple guys. Dorsett here, Roundtree, Nichols, Fitzpatrick, Kidd, all producing interceptions. It's just not enough. I think I'm gonna start some other guys, and we're just gonna sim to the end of the season because I doubt that we're gonna make the postseason. As I simmed all the way here to the postseason, and we go 8-9, losing to the Titans in week 18, 21-14. And with that victory, could have propelled us into the postseason. It just matters with tiebreakers. I think we lost to the Panthers, and I think we lost to the Giants too. So I think there was a chance we could have made the postseason, I guess, but we just could not put together enough victories. The offense could only do so much. Will Burley could only do so much. And I know he only throws 25 touchdowns, but he throws 4,480 passing yards, sacked 40 times as well. Brandon Meredith led us with 11 touchdowns, and in yards, Oz didn't do much. And that's just a tough pill to swallow. We see that Cameron Hayden, 1,400 yards and 13 scores. Absolutely not. He's not leaving the building. I will either extend him or tag him. Mitch Ford here produced 1,000 yards, only scored 14 times, or only scored 4 times, excuse me. And this is the weird thing about Mitch Ford. You know, drafted 5th or 4th overall, didn't play his first year. Second year, produced well, got a lot, you know, improved, continued to improve, had an injury, bounce back season, and now he's had 2 years where I feel like he's just not the deep threat that we need him to be. Cameron Hayden has really taken over this #1 receiver role. Bobby Summers only scored once. Brian scored 3 times. JJ Jackson got on the field a little bit more, scored 3 as well. So, and you know, he played a good amount of less downs, and you know, I don't know. Offensive line wise, Chase Green finished the year with 11 sacks allowed. You know, we saw these young guys all play, and they actually played better than our starters. DeCoolest Mims, this is a season that I said he needed to have, and he did. Almost 100 tackles, 6 CFLs, 3 sacks. Nicholas here got 2 interceptions in the TFL. Fitzpatrick here got 3 interceptions. So in reality, it's the young guys who did not produce. Teddy here, our rookie linebacker, got 8 TFLs. We see by the end of the season, Josh Wilkins had only 7.5 sacks to finish the year. Brian here got 5, and Colbert here got 4. We need an alpha on this defensive line somewhere. Coolest Mims had 3 sacks, and yeah, tough season. Tough pill to swallow having a losing year. And I doubt that we're going to have too many players. I'll point out if we do. And as of right now, we had no yearly awards. So let's get to the Pro Bowl list. We might have a Pro Bowler or 2. And here's the Pro Bowl list. Will Britley didn't make it in. That's surprising. No one for our running backs. Cameron Hayden got in as a receiver. Cameron Wall got in as a center. No one else defensively. I doubt that we'll see much of any. Mims made it in. As Branch, he's the next player that from us. And that's it. So, few Pro Bowlers, not too shabby. After a losing season, not what you want to see whatsoever. And this year's Super Bowl champs are the Washington Commanders, beating the Las Vegas Raiders 24-21. I don't believe we've seen the Commanders at all during these postseasons. And no, I don't even think I saw the Raiders either. So, 2 new conference champions, and the Commanders are now the Super Bowl champions. So, you know, not at all this is a year that I did not expect from us. You know, I thought as we entered into this season, we would have had a much better offense around, you know, overall wise. And I expected our defense to play good enough to, you know, to help us win. It's clear to me that I need to be more aggressive, as we only have a few more videos left. But it's clear to me that, you know, this team something is off with this team and I have to figure that out, my first solution is getting somewhere on this defensive line, maybe another defensive tackle, is, you know, a 90 plus overall player. Because, you know, when you look at each level on this defense, you know, secondary, we have 2 top guys, and you throw in Dorsett, who's also becoming a top guy. Linebacker, you have Mims, and then this defensive line, you have 3 young guys that are supposed to produce, that's shown that they can. You know, I think Brian here had a solid season, but, you know, he needs to be more than just having a solid season. When you flip it over here to this offense, you know, I think Mitch Ford potentially becomes not maybe expendable, but I don't know how, I don't know if I can kind of book him in as my long-term solution at receiver, as he is starting to also regress a bit, which is not at all what you want to see. We also see that Will Britley is starting to regress, as now he's going to be, he has 10 years of league experience, and so far what he has to showcase for himself is being a very consistently good quarterback, and especially in the regular season, but just can't finish years. This is an important note as well. Over the last 5 years now, we have allowed 38 plus sacks 4 times. And he has been sacked so much throughout his career. Wow. And I mean, we have 2 superstar linemen. I've tried. I don't know what it is. Let's see any sort of retirement. This will be more for around the league at this point. I'll point out any ones that I really recognize. Anthony Fulton here, he was a receiver that I liked a handful of drafts ago. Some linemen are going. Alex Coleman, he was our kicker for a little bit. We see that Rashad Kitchens has decided to retire. He's our 6'9" tight end. He probably finishes his career with right around 1,500 yards and 20 scores. A very solid 13 years. We'll definitely miss him. I've always kind of kept him around. Darren Spellman here, he was a linebacker that we signed for a couple seasons. Brian Stockter, he was a linebacker that I drafted. They're all retiring. And I'm so far not seeing anyone else that's worth kind of noting. I mean, all of these guys probably had some type of impact throughout this franchise. And no one else that, at least from our team. So 1 retirement. And, you know, we're entering into next episode will be year 18, guys. You know, we're going to go into it with some important needs, but we're going to go with it with a 3rd overall pick, the 11th, the 16th, and then you throw in 3 more top 75 picks and, you know, almost another top 100 selection. We have the draft capital to do a lot, and that's getting help on this defensive line. I think getting a veteran would do so, and being able to draft some more key young players, as we have $63 million, and these are the guys that we have to make decisions on. Cameron Hayden, I said it before, I am not looking to let him go, and I will be willing to tag him. It will eat up a lot of our money if we do so. Michael Dorsett, he wants, well, 5th-year option for him. Roundtree, that will be a decision. Hunt will also, Lance Brown, Jalen Milne. I mean, all of these guys are solid depth, but, you know, Chase Green, I'll move back to guard. But I just don't see myself making too many decisions here, at least in the re-signing. Maybe 1 or 2 key ones, but we'll see. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's action. I hope you've been enjoying the 20-year rebuild of the Arizona Cardinals. If you are, let me know down below if you think what you think of this franchise, if you've been enjoying it or not. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Like the video. You know, share it with a friend. Hope you have a great day. I'll see you on the next one.